the next big thing. This is going to determine whether or not a bank is going to approve you for a loan, for a mortgage. Okay? The gross debt service ratio. Can I just say that this is not an expense? I will say this, not an expense. This is just, go ahead, try to hurry because you're going to miss. Gross debt service ratio is a key component to calculating if you can afford a house or how much you can afford to pay for a house. It compares the total cost of your monthly mortgage payment, taxes, and heating. Right, so it takes your mortgage payment, your taxes, and your heating bill, and it compares it to your monthly income, okay, from all sources. A mortgage is the loan you take out from a financial institution to pay for your house. Obviously, that is. But can you please highlight the mortgage payment and underline, right, taxes and heating? And by taxes, I mean property taxes. Okay, on page 32, Marcy, if you want to. A mortgage, so here we go, more GDSR. What does the GDSR, GDSR short for gross debt service ratio? Okay, the GDSR, it says that your monthly housing cost must not be greater than 32%. That is very important. I will circle the 32% because you need to make reference to it if you want to get full marks for certain questions, right? So it's basically saying your housing cost should not be more than a third of your income. Okay? And that's just to protect you, because if you overburden yourself with a mortgage that's too heavy, there's a bigger chance of you defaulting on your mortgage and not paying it. And that the banks they don't want that, and you don't want that. So it's kind of like a check in place and this is one of the ways banks determine, and it's still being used. I'm asking my banker all the time, like, is this still being used? And they're like, among other things, yes. Okay. And so it must not be greater than 32% of your gross income. What's gross income? It's income that's really gross. No, I'm just kidding. It's gross income is before taxes, right? So let's say you make $70,000 a year. You technically make about $100,000 a year if taxes had not been taken off, right? So it's significant. If someone's GDSR is 32 or greater, the bank will not approve, right? 32% or greater, the bank will not approve the mortgage. So that's key there. Monthly housing costs include your mortgage payment. Housing includes mortgage payment, heating costs, and property taxes. And this is where I'm going to use a different highlighter. You ready for this? The monthly part. Because that is going to be huge. We're going to have to make sure everything is in monthly amounts. So if they give me the yearly property taxes, we're going to have to figure out the monthly. All we do is divide it by 12. To calculate the GDSR, here's the formula. This formula is actually on your formula sheet. Right? I'm making note that it's on your formula sheet. So if you don't want to write this on your study sheet, you are okay with it. You're okay. You don't have to. Let me just quickly show you what it looks like. It may look a little different. It does look a little different. It's more pressed in like this, but it's right there. The gross debt service ratio, GDSR, that's how we call it. And it's right here. And notice that it's monthly, 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 monthly. Everything has to be in monthly amounts. So I will highlight that. Monthly. If you get the monthly part right, you are honestly very close to getting the right answer. That is the only thing that's going to throw you off and get you an answer that does not make any sense whatsoever if you forget to turn everything into a monthly amount. Watch this, to calculate the maximum monthly amount you are able to spend on housing, and this is not on your study sheet, on your formula sheet. So this is the one that you might want to add as I'm going through it. I'm just going to check here. So maximum housing, maximum you can spend on housing is simply 0.32 times your monthly income. Okay. So if you take 32%, multiply that by your monthly income, then you know how much you can spend on housing monthly. Okay. And remember, what's housing? Housing, right? There are three things: mortgage payment, property tax, and heating. For some reason, they want the heating in that ratio as well. So I'm guessing you live in Canada, you can't do without heating, right? It needs to be part of the equation. And now with gas prices going up, natural gas is also going up. So it costs more to heat your home. I would box this in because I told you earlier this year, everything that's boxed in is important. To calculate the maximum monthly mortgage payment you can afford, we use the following. Max payment. Watch this, it's just a little bit longer than the top here. 0.32 times monthly income minus heating, and that's on a monthly basis, right? Minus property tax. That's also a monthly amount. Okay. And notice that everything here is in monthly. It's monthly amount, so there should be no surprises there. So you just have to read the question carefully. The Olivers have a combined family income of $5,800. Can you put per month over here underneath? Just put MTH so we know that this is per month, right? So this family has a combined monthly income of $5,800 a month. What is the maximum they could spend on housing? Right, maximum on housing, right? Maximum housing. So maximum housing costs would simply be 0.32 times 5,800. Nothing extraordinary here. It's pretty straightforward. 0.32 times 5,800. That's 1856, right? Per month. So this family, based on their income, they can afford $1,800, almost $1,900 a month to still be approved. So let's say your mortgage payment is $1,300, then you have $550 still left to spend on something else. Okay, so let's put that in our notes. This is mortgage plus heat plus tax combined, right? All those three things combined. So make sure you write that down. And I will AC you on this already tomorrow. So whoever wasn't here today, they better look up the video, right? We're good? Hey. Okay. So there's a bit of a case study here. The Olivers estimate that the houses they're looking for cost approximately $180 per month on heating. It's $180 per month for heating, they figured. And property taxes will be approximately $3,800 per year. Okay. What is the maximum mortgage payment they can afford? So they just want the mortgage payment. So first of all, I want you to notice that it says per year here. So we're going to go and do this. Just right next to it, 3,800 divided by 12. And that is 316.67 per month. You need to do that right away. Don't include that in your calculations, okay? So the maximum payment that you can make here, I'm going to start from scratch here. I'm going to go 32% times 5,800, and I'm going to subtract what I know. The heating is $180 per month, and the property taxes are $316.67. That's right from here, right? So this is heating, and this is your tax portion, okay? So you get 1856. That's what you are allowed to spend on all this, on everything. You take away the heat, you take away your property tax, and you get a total of 1359.33 per month that you can spend on that house. Okay? So if you take your total housing, you subtract how much you expect to spend on heating, you subtract how much you expect to spend on property taxes, and that's how much your mortgage is. So whatever it is, you can work backwards and figure out how much it is that, what kind of house can you look for? And you might say, like, Mr. Dixon, how do I know how much a house spends on heating? Well, based on the size you're looking for, based on the price range, it's all about the same. It's not going to be a huge difference in heating, and there's not going to be a huge difference in property taxes. So you have a rough estimate as to what you can look for, okay? And I will show you tomorrow how you can go online and work backwards. If this is what you can afford per month, how much am I looking for in terms of hundreds of thousands? Go ahead. Let's do this example here. So now you need to pay attention. This is basically the GDSR, how you calculate it. If I ask you to find the GDSR, this is how you do it. They're going to give you a whole bunch of information, right? The property taxes for this house is $3,600 a year, the house they're looking for. And the heating costs are approximately $250 per month. The mortgage payment is $1,450 a month. Okay? Calculate the GDSR. Calculate the GDSR for this family. Okay? And so here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Let's write out the formula, GDSR, and it's going to be as a percentage, okay? It's going to be the payment Okay, mortgage payment plus monthly heat plus monthly tax. You put that all in brackets like this, then you divide it by the monthly income. Okay, and all of this, sorry guys, this is going to be, I should have thought about this beforehand, but you're going to multiply everything by 100. Okay, the whole thing here is going to be multiplied by 100 to get it as a percentage. Okay, so I have to do some work here. My taxes, I need to take the 3,600 and divide it by 12. Okay, and when you do that, you get $300 per month. Check, right? You need to make sure your property taxes in this case is turned into a monthly amount. I look at my payment, it's already per month. I look at the heating, it's already per month. So all you need to do here is just plug in GDSR is going to be my mortgage payment plus the monthly heating, which is $250 a month, plus the $300 a month. You make sure you put that in brackets like this. That means it needs to happen before you divide. And we divide it by their income. What was their income again? It's still from the previous page. You remember that? The $5,800 a month? The $5,800 a month is from the previous page. Every single amount here is month. If you type in 60,000 here all of a sudden for the income, you should know that that's off, because all these other numbers will be fairly low because they're monthly amounts, right? And then you multiply all of that by 100. And so let's plug this in. I will figure out what that is. 1450 plus 250 plus 300, and you better write this down, right? Times 100. So you get the top part here, you turn that into just one number, and there could be a decimal in there. Whatever the case, make sure you bring that with you. Okay, then you divide it by the income and you multiply it by 100. Let's put it this way, guys. When you get a test score or a quiz score, you take your what you got and you divide it by the total. And so that's what we're doing here. This is what my housing is. What is that percentage-wise out of my income? So you go 2,000 divided by 5,800 times 100. Then you multiply by 100. So it's 34.48%. Okay, so it's 34.48%. That right there you can circle. That is what they're actually asking for. This is your GDSR right there. Okay, so if they ask you for the GDSR, they want you to do all of this and then ultimately come up with just one value. That's what we're saying here. And I will tell you this, you should have no negatives, right? If you ever get a negative, you did something wrong, because I've had that happen, okay? State as percentage, right? That's also very important. You don't just stay with 3448, you need to have the percentage. That's why we're multiplying by 100, okay? Will the bank approve this mortgage in this particular case? And the answer is no, right? No. The bank will likely not approve this mortgage. GDSR is greater than 32%. That is That is very important. If you want to get, if you just say, yeah, no, maybe the mortgage is not too bad, that's not going to get you the mark there. You need to make reference to the GDSR is greater than 32%. You're basically saying, in this particular case, this family would be spending more than the 32% threshold on housing, which is not sustainable. Okay. And here's where you can score marks as well. What can this family do to get approved? Oliviers need to increase their income. If you increase your income, you could still probably make it work. Oliviers need to increase the down payment. Right? If you have a greater down payment, your mortgage will go down, and that can possibly qualify you. How can you increase your income just like that overnight? Is it possible? Like, even if you get a job right now, a second job, and you tell them, hey, bank, I got a second job right here, they're not going to take that. They want you to have at least 6 months or something of a history with that new job. So how can you do it? Well, you can get a cosigner. Have you heard of a cosigner before? What's that? Okay, so a cosigner, right? It's someone that obviously would trust you, because if they put their name down, they're liable for this, right? So a lot of parents do that for their kids, right? So they sign that, they put their name on that mortgage, and then technically now their income is regarded as part of that whole income of the house. Okay, so get a cosigner, basically. So before we go today, before we call it, I want you to try this example right here, and I can probably give you the answer in a bit. How's that? You get it started, and then I'll give you the answer right here. But try to calculate the GDSR for this particular individual here. Okay, you need to make sure everything is a monthly. You plug in everything the way you're supposed to. If you get the right answer, you're good to go for tomorrow, right? So, and then there are some questions on page 35. Okay, so try this now. Before you do anything else, you want to be able to figure out GDSR by the end of today. Okay. If you want to prepare for tomorrow, go to page 35. I will give you the answers there. So if you want to just write them down, 40.04%. For 1A, I will not give you B because that's up to you. For 2, it's 69.50. That's like the maximum. Their monthly combined income would be that. 3 things that are considered housing costs. Just go back to your notes. It should be right there. Their maximum monthly housing expenses can be $2,224. You want to write that down, $2,224. And the GDSR for them is 37.87%. So there you have quite a few. Like, if you just want to work through that to prepare for tomorrow,